up, YouTube? So I was debating doing the review on the 2016 Road Glide Special, just kind of a voiceover with some pictures of the bike. I may make that the thumbnails for the videos, the picture of the bike, but I'm going to do it kind of riding along with you guys, so that way you got something to look at least while we're going over things. So my take on the 2016 Road Glide Special. Overall, it was a very great bike. To let you know kind of what I grouped it with or what I test drove with, I looked at an Indian Chieftain, which I still love Indian bikes. I looked at a Street Glide and I looked at a Road Glide. And I'll talk about some of the differences. The Indian Chieftain is built like the Street Glide in that the fairing is fixed. It's a batwing fairing, so to speak. So it's attached to your bars. What that means is, the good news is your headlights kind of move around the corner with you. The bad side to that is when you get strong headwind or when you get any kind of violent wind or a semi passes you, something like that, you end up with taking all that into the bar, so you get some shake. Occasionally you'll get a blast of air that'll kind of shake the bars in your hands. Road Glide has a fixed fairing. The fairing is mounted to the frame of the motorcycle, so you don't absorb any of that. The bike does, and it really does. I noticed right away it makes a big difference in the amount of play you get in the handlebars. The other thing I noticed is, turning at slow speed, stuff like that, just felt more comfortable on the Road Glide with just being the handlebars and the tree that you're moving, not another fairing with 40 more pounds of shit on it. The other thing I noticed, so there's differences in fairings obviously too. The Street Glide has your controls, anything that you touch, a lot closer to you and a lot more tilted upright, so almost vertical right in front of you. That would be good for anyone with shorter arms. And to be honest, the screen visibility, especially in high light situations, like when the sun's right over top of you, is much better on the Street Glide. That nav/stereo information screen on the Road Glide is pushed way further out front and is tilted forward. So you get sun directly over top of you, it's very hard to see that. There's some aftermarket companies that make little hoods, stuff like that to go over it. I don't know how well they work, but I didn't think I would need to attach another device to it. So I give, in terms of accessibility and visibility of the fairing, I give that to the Street Glide hands down. As far as operator seeing, you will notice if you're a taller rider, you have more room on the Road Glide than you do on the Street Glide. I don't know what it is, the controls feel a little bit more forward on the Road Glide, and the seating position puts you just a little bit further back, so it feels like you've got more room to work with. For sure, I definitely felt a little less straight up and down on the Road Glide than I did the Street Glide, so I enjoyed that. Other than that, the differences between the bikes are, obviously with the batwing fairing, you get a single headlight. The Road Glide comes with dual Daymaker LEDs in the front, and so one of the things people wonder about or complain about the Road Glide is, I bought a Street Glide because your headlights being fixed, it's hard to see around the corner. That is not true at all if you've ever actually ridden a Road Glide at night. Those dual Daymakers are insanely fucking bright. You pop those things on bright, and I have yet to find a corner I'm going around where I do not have light around the corner, so ignore that. The price point, the Road Glide's it was at the time I bought, about a $500 difference. Now that washes away pretty easily just when you look at the headlights. A single Daymaker headlights between $500 and $600. So having dual headlights up front, to me, is very well worth it. The Road Glide special, the Rushmore packages came with the triple vented fairings. You got a vent on a louver on the left, the right, and a top vent. I don't notice a ton of difference in airflow with them. Now, I will tell you that if you're getting wind buffeting at your ears, how you control the vents, like usually all three open, will reduce some of that buffeting. You get more wind overall, but the buffeting that, fucks with your ears and shakes your head goes away for the most part. The stock windshield on the Road Glide is like not having a windshield at all. You might as well, that should be one of the first upgrades you do to it. At least if you do any two-up riding, or if you're of any decent height. That thing stands about 5 to 6 inches over top of the fairing, and it's absolutely useless. It's just there for looks, I guess. But so you're going to want to pick up between a 10 and a 14-inch windshield, depending on your height, other factors. So obviously the goal with the windshield is you want to be able to look over it. You don't want to be looking through it. It's not like a windshield. And the plastic quality is not, you'll notice, is not like it. If you have to end up, you're dodging weather or something, you're looking through it, it's not a very good quality thing to look through. So the goal is for you to be able to look just over it, and get a flared windshield. Don't get one that has just a standard straight up edge on it. You need what is called a recurve windshield. And what that has on it is a feature that towards the top of the plastic, you'll see it curve back up and outward. And what that's doing is picking up that wind and throwing it back and up over your head. So that's what you need for those. So windscreen is useless. Overall seating position, definitely, in my opinion, it's a better bike for taller riders. Visibility on the screen is poor on the Road Glide, much better on the Street Glide. The rest of the chassis, frame, engine, transmission, they are identical. Saddlebags, it's the exact same chassis. The difference is the fairing. That's pretty much it between the two bikes. Everything else they share. The durability, obviously I only owned it for 5,000 miles. I had no issues with it other than there's a classic issue that's affecting many Harleys of that model year. The fucking gas cap randomly one day decided it wasn't going to come off or screw back in anymore. It's a known issue. Harley replaces it under warranty. No issues with the new gas cap. That was probably the last 2,000 miles I had the new cap on. So no problems with that after that. I had no other issues with it other than, I will call these weird little glitches. The radio and the Bluetooth connection, and I know this happens on the Street Glide and the Road Glide, can get a little fucky sometimes. And what I mean by that is sometimes it won't recognize your Bluetooth phone, or you'll get to the end of a track or something like that, and all of a sudden it's like it just shuts down and won't connect or reconnect to it. That part rarely happened, but the randomly not connecting your phone would happen, I would say decent, and I would have to shut off the Bluetooth on my phone, reconnect it to get it to go again. So I don't know if I never did a software flash update on mine. That might have fixed it. I don't know. So other than that, handling, it's a great handling bike. Obviously it's a touring bike, so you're not carving corners nearly as much as you are on a sport bike or on a one of the smaller cruisers. The handles very well. The ride is pretty well. I still think Harley has a lot of room to improve with shock quality in the rear. It does come with an adjustable rear shock in the rear, and it's easy as hell to adjust. All you do is pull off the driver's side saddlebag, and there's a black knob there, and it's got basically a twisting adjuster that you can manipulate up or down for your comfort. Riding 2 up, you pretty much guarantee you're going to be at full max on it all the time. But it is adjustable, so that's a good thing, right? The ride quality other than that was pretty good. I was surprised that when if you strike an object, like I happened to hit a possum on the road that was already dead but very fresh, so he was still nice and fluffy. I was really surprised at how well the wheel rebounded back. So the front fork and that setup in there is really good in terms of rebound when you strike an object, so you're not losing control. My bike was a special, so it had ABS. I did get the unfortunate ability to test that a couple times, and it works extremely well. If you're ever buying a bike, you've got an option ABS, and it's a $500 to $800 difference. Just do it, man. You'll add that in parts anyway. Trust me, it's a feature. It's well worth it. So these were linked ABS brakes, and what that meant was under 20 miles an hour, your brakes are still singular, so you can still do all the same normal techniques and tricks that you do while riding, like, you know, dragging your rear brake lightly around a corner, or using primarily your front brake to stop you. Under 20 miles an hour, the brakes are singular. Over 20 miles an hour, they become linked, which means if you go to hit a deer that jumps out in front of you and you panic and grab a full fistful of front brake, or all rear brake and no front, it automatically levels the load out between the two of them, and if you're squeezing hard enough, will pulsate to bring you to a stop without locking up your wheels. Those of you that have locked up either a rear wheel or a front wheel know that that's not a comfortable or fun situation. I would say the rear wheel probably worse, because you have a lot more tendency to either high side, or if you're turning, you're going to instantly dive the bike to the pavement. Rear wheel, usually it'll kick out the ass end on you as long as you let up pretty quick. You can use to recover pretty quick. Front wheel's not as easy, still doable. But so ABS brakes, good thing, and on that Harley I can validate that they do work well. Overall ride quality, like I said, was pretty good. The shocks left a little bit to be desired. I had no other issues, no oil leaks, no oil consumption. Fuel mileage was about as advertised. I'd say I got between 40, 44, depending on how I was riding, what I was doing. Stock exhaust sucks, but that's like any Harley. They sound like pussycats in the factory, so I recommend at least a slip-on, and there's some cheap options out there for slip-ons too, or full exhaust. Saddlebags worked well, very functional. They now this year have the quick open latch. It's on the inside of the door, which is nice because from a seated position while you're riding, you can actually open the saddlebag. So like if you got your sunglasses in there, if you need to switch to something, you can do that pretty easily. Right on the inside of the saddlebag, clear up to the front, so it's easy to reach by hand. The little pins to take them on and off, I think Harley could do a better job there. It's purely an old school steel washer, steel pin with like a key ring on it, and it's a twist lock. So you twist it like a quarter of a turn to the left, it comes out, a quarter of the turn to the right, it locks it down. So they had a recall a couple years ago, not on my bike, where these things were falling off, and it was those pins being defective with that latch system. But they're just in general pain in the ass. If you don't line that pin exactly upright, it hits the little nut clip under that's in between the saddlebag and the bike, and won't quite line up or get in there right. So I just think there should be a better way to lock those things in place. I'd rather see a latch system, something that like grabs over the top of a rail and, you know, buttons down. Anything better than that, because the pin systems really suck to me. Other than that, I was really happy with the bike. The stock seat is very comfortable for the driver. If you have a passenger, you're going to want a different seat. This is the most asinine seat design ever for two-up riding. Now, granted, it looks better than any two-up seat you're ever going to put on a bike. But don't buy a two-up seat expecting the thing to look great. They don't. They're meant for passenger comfort, or they should be. But so the back seat is tapered to the fender and it slopes backwards, so it's completely counterintuitive to what you'd want in a motorcycle seat. Essentially, it's slick leather that when you hammer down on the throttle, your passenger's going to fly off if they're not holding on to you. The stock pegs, not terrible in the back for the passenger, not great either. My wife's feet were pretty uncomfortable on them. I bought mini floorboards to go back there. Those were a lot better. The floorboards for the driver, very comfortable. Comes with a standard heel-toe shifter. I would say for most guys, if you're going to use the heel shifter, you're going to want to loosen that thing up and adjust that heel shifter down, because to me it's set too high. It feels really bucky if you're trying to shift using the heel shifter. So lighting, electronics, other than that, everything was good. Cruise control was nice. Definitely a good feature there. And it's pretty intuitive. You have the roll off the throttle. It rolls about an eighth of a turn past no throttle to turn off your cruise control, so that works nice. Other than that, I really love the bike. I had no other major issues with it. I learned something on the theft system that you should be cognizant of. So the bigger bikes all come with a fob system. Some have security, some don't. I'm sorry, the Road Glide Special comes standard with security. So the one thing I learned was I moved down to North Carolina about a year ago. And I thought, cool, I will throw the fob in the dash, because you got two flip-up dash things. And I threw the fob in there, thought it was good to go. Well, on the way down, even if it has a fob, and if the bike is continually moving and you're not turning it on or operating it, it thinks it's being stolen on a trailer even though it has the fob with it. Sets off your security system. So it went completely dead by the time it got down here. And one thing you guys may not know, but if you own a battery tender, it will look like it's, if you hook it up to a flat dead battery, like there's 0 amps left in it, it will look like it's charging, but it is not. It will just stay that way forever, and you'll never get enough power to juice the bike. So what I did was hooked it up to a car battery, did not jump it. I just let it sit there with no power to either unit until the voltmeter came up to about 6. And I took it off, plugged in the battery tender. About 2 days later, it was fully charged. I didn't have any issues. A lot of people thought I was going to have to replace the battery. I didn't have to do that. The other thing about the fairing, those little flip-up glove boxes, those work really well. It's like a weighted lid, so it will automatically close on its own. I put cell phones, glasses, anything in there. I've never had to have anything come out. I've even put a 20-ounce bottle of pop in there with the lid open, and there's enough weight on it, kept it nice and shut. So overall, very solid bike. I had no issues with it. Again, my only reason for trading it is I no longer had the need for 2-up riding, or not very often 2-up riding. And I've always liked Dynas and Softails better. So Road Glide was a fun bike to ride. I would definitely own one again, probably the Ultra, if we get back into touring later in life.